Hi everybody, my name is Kim, and welcome back to Bookmarks and Breadsticks. Welcome back to Bookmarks and Breadsticks. I'm here today with a long overdue book review of the book We Are Each Other's Harvest, Celebrating African American Farmers' Land and Legacy by Natalie Bazile. She is the author of Queen Sugar. First, a big thank you to Amistad, which is an imprint of HarperCollins, for sending me this uncorrected proof for sale. I will be picking up a final published copy. The book is now available in stores. I'll put the picture of the cover here. So in my version, it's 352 pages, but the last couple... In my uncorrected proof, it came in at 333 pages. I did listen to this as an audiobook on Scribd. The audiobook came in at 13 hours. I did listen to it at 1.2 speed, so it did cut down a little bit of time, but I'm not someone who can really listen above 1.2 pages percent, 1.2% speed. Let me read the back for you. In the early decades following enslavement, there were over 1 million Black farmers. Today, there are just 45,000, having lost 14 million acres of land. In this impressive collection, Natalie Bazile brings together a harmonious chorus of essays, poems, photographs, quotes, conversations, and first-person stories to show the long, rich agricultural history of Black people, as well as their connection to the American land from emancipation to today. She reveals that Black farming informs crucial aspects of American culture, strengthening the family, binding our national identity to the land, the healing power of food, community, and self-determination. She reminds us that well-earned and fiercely protected land, well-earned and fiercely protected, transcends history and signifies a home that can be tended, tilled, and passed to succeeding generations with pride. She also sounds the alarm about the challenges a farmers face. In their own words, mature, experienced farmers explain why they continue to farm despite systematic discrimination and land laws. And young farmers reveal their passions as they seek to honor their ancestors while redressing issues of food justice, food sovereignty, and reparations. Journeying from Alaska to Louisiana, from Georgia to Napa Valley, We Are Each Other's Harvests uplifts the voices of Black farmers, celebrating their perseverance and resilience. Luminous and eye-opening, this insightful collection helps her reimagine what it means to be dedicated to the soil. I have to say that I really enjoyed this book, and I enjoyed it because it actually was a mix of both worlds. I had an internship with Food Tank, a nonprofit that tries to fight for proper, it's a food politics kind of platform. I learned a lot at that internship about food sovereignty, food apartheid, and systematic racism that keeps Black farmers and other BIPOC farmers away from owning land in the United States. So this book really tapped into something that was a passion area for me that I'm trying to learn more about and be involved in. But what I also liked is there was a little bit of reprieve from the intensity with these poems. I found the poems and the little short stories and chapter inserts a breath of fresh air that I didn't know I was expecting. So there were some definitely longer chapters or interviews in this book, but there were also moments where you got a poem read to you for 60 seconds, and it was really wonderful to experience. The book brings to light a lot of corruption in the U.S., especially in government organizations, and how the national law sometimes fell to local jurisdictions to enforce policies, and those local politicians would be racist and would favor their white friends and white farmers and leave Black farmers with little to no advantages. It was really sad to hear how farmers really wanted to pass their farms down to their children, but their children didn't want to be farmers because they didn't think it was sustainable. And it was very interesting to listen to the conversations of, we sent our kids to school and our kids think they need to be doctors and to prove that they are more than their parents. And now there's a group of young Black men and women who are coming back to the farms because that connection to the soil is a good thing. It brought up a conversation of life and generations post-slavery in slavery, Black men and women were forced to work on farms. So the generations after wanted nothing to do with the farms. They didn't have to do that anymore. So it actually kind of bred into future generations that farming was a negative thing. Slavery is a negative thing, but the act of farming, somehow those two things melded together for future generations. And now there's a generation who's looking back and saying, farming is wonderful and it connects me to my ancestors and to my roots and it's what I meant to do. But it was a really interesting conversation. And obviously as someone who is white passing, I would never have to experience that kind of struggle, generational struggle, internal struggle. And I thought it was a really interesting thing to experience and listen to. The book did mention another book that I read last year, which is Farming While Black, Soulfire Farm's Practical Guide to Liberation on the Land by Leah Peninem. So just wanted to, while this video is a review about this book, I did want to mention this is another fantastic read about Black farming in the United States. I would say that Leah's book is much more tactics-based, how-to based, versus I found that Natalie Bazille's book was a mix of history and a mix of fictional works. Oh no, a page of my uncorrected proof came out. Well, I guess it's a good thing that I'm buying a final copy because mine's falling apart. So in the contents page, for example, they go back and forth of stories and, you know, I wish, I'll have to impose it up here, but there's 4 pages worth of content as a table of content. And there's examples of things like Call Me by My Name. Oh, Wheel of Fortune with Martha Calderon really stood out to me. And it was about how she and her husband came over from Mexico to be fruit pickers. And she learned English by buying a TV and listening to Wheel of Fortune. And I'll admit that the way the news and the media portray those fruit farmers, fruit pickers, they are considered, I don't know, less than. They get the vibe of, like, they get characterized as illegal immigrants and illiterate people and people who don't want to have real jobs. And Calderon, and in that specific section, which I think is my favorite one of the whole anthology, Martha really pushes back and says, no, there is nothing more noble than being a fruit picker. I feed people. I put a roof over my children's heads, and she learned English, and she built a whole life from it. And I think I take for granted the opportunities I have as a white passing American citizen. And I appreciated just kind of having reality slapped in my face a little bit, that not everything is as, oh, woe is this person. So I was reading this book over the past 2 weeks, and actually the timing worked out really well because I attended a talk for Creative Mornings Buffalo. If you know what Creative Mornings is, I will, at the end of this video or after this description, explain what Creative Mornings is in whole. But for the month of July, there was a theme of roots. And the speaker was Alexander J. Wright. He has a JD, and he is local to Buffalo. So every city's speakers are local. And Alexander is a visionary innovator and the driving force behind the African Heritage Food Co-op. He has a pragmatic approach to solving social issues, which he teaches and explains to a variety of audiences. His mantra, anything less than ownership, is a battle cry for the underserved communities to take action in their own hands. His goal is to empower the powerless, unite communities, and promote economic self-reliance. I will link to his talk below. It was conducted over Zoom. Even as the world's opening up, a lot of Creative Morning chapters are going to continue to have these talks remotely. It's a global organization, so you can look to see if there is a chapter near you. But the African Heritage Food Co-op, their vision is to create a world where inner city neighborhoods can become communities where no one goes without healthy, affordable food options. Most importantly, it's a world where we can entrust ownership and employment opportunities in and for the community. So listening to Alexander's talk, a lot of questions came up on how to best serve that community. And there were conversations about having integrity when you want to, having integrity and humility and being humble when you approach that community and you want to help. So when I read books like this, I get super passionate and I really want to help. And I'm the first person to contact a website and ask how to volunteer. And Alexander's pushback was not that he doesn't want help. He wants people to come help, but he doesn't want people to come help and have this like white savior complex. The idea is to come with intention. What specifically do you want to do? What kind of volunteering do you want to do? What skills are you bringing that can serve this community? What I like about the African American Heritage Co-op is that they have this opportunity where you can sponsor land. So you can sponsor a parcel of land that members of that community can grow and harvest their own food on. And I really love that. And I think that'd be a super cool way to partner my box, Read It and Eat, with a donation component. And if I sold X amount of boxes, I could use the proceeds to buy a plot of land. And then that plot of land could go to someone who needs it. I don't really think I need to be the farmer. I don't know if I really need to be there. But I want to support. And that's where I get the wheels turning. And now I have to, after listening to that talk, after reading this book, I want to be very careful on the choices I make and how I want to engage and help the community, especially the BIPOC farming community. Is it better for me to go buy produce from them directly? I buy food at a farmer's market already, so I already am trying to support small farmers. But it really got me thinking between the book and this talk, what are my intentions? And do I plan to make this a one-off thing? Am I going to completely readjust my ways of living? It was a really eye-opening conversation and a really good read. I really hope you guys consider picking up We Are Each Other's Harvest, Celebrating American Farmers, Land, and Legacy by Natalie Basile. The final copy is out in the world. You can find it at bookstores. If it's not at your local bookstore, you can have them special order it for you. Remember that keeping your dollars with an independent bookstore sends the dollars back into your own community. So about Creative Mornings. In 2008, Tina Roth Eisenberg, Swiss Miss, started Creative Mornings out of a desire for an ongoing, accessible event for New York's creative community. The concept was simple: breakfast and a short talk one Friday morning each month. Every event would be free of charge and open to anyone. Today, attendees gather in cities around the world to enjoy fresh coffee, friendly people, and an international array of breakfast foods. Volunteer hosts and their team members organize local chapters that not only celebrate a city's creative talent, but also promote an open space to connect with like-minded individuals. This growing archive of past breakfast talks is humbling. From design legends to hometown heroes, speakers are selected each chapter based on a global theme. Creative Mornings remains free thanks to the support of local partners, which I am a local partner. Read It and Eat. Bookmarks and Breadsticks is an official partner now for the Buffalo chapter, and I'm really honored to do that. Every speaker will be gifted a Read It and Eat subscription box, and I'm super, super happy. I was one of the original founding volunteers of Creative Mornings Buffalo almost 5 years ago, and it feels really cool to be back with my family in a way. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is creative. Just register beforehand to reserve your spot. And if you need a little help convincing your boss to let you attend, we've got you covered. Remember to set your alarm, and we'll see you in the morning. So that is my review of We Are Each Other's Harvest by Natalie Basile. Remember, this book is out in stores in hardcover already. Thank you again, Amistad, for sending this book to me. Sorry it took me a little while to read it, but I am glad I did. I very well think this could be on my best of 2021 list. And if you haven't already, please consider looking up a Creative Mornings chapter in your neighborhood. I hope you are well. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe below. I post new content every Tuesday and Saturday, and sometimes bonus content on Thursdays and Fridays, like things like this and this book review. If you're looking for me on other parts of the internet, you can follow me on Instagram, and you can follow the Feasting Females as we host the Book Buffet Readathon this August. It's a month-long readathon focusing on everything in the food writing space, including some fiction if you want to black out that bingo board. You can check out more information on the Book Buffet Readathon down below, where I'll link a playlist or up in the cards. See you in the next one. Bye.